Notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing to remember our troops abroad and their families here at home, and also the passing of Marion Dykey Sharon, former Belmar Council President Doug Dykey's mom. Thank you. The council joining us today for the first presentation. So you may have heard we have a parade coming up in a couple weeks, and we wanted to honor the Grand Marshal and the Deputy Grand Marshal. Unfortunately, I don't think Deputy Grand Marshal is able to be here with us today, but we do have the Grand Marshal and also the Chairman of the parade. So I'd like to bring up Danny Riley and also Chip Cameron. And today was outstanding parade weather, so yes, we can have this. So this is a resolution honoring the 2018 St. Patrick's Day Parade Grand Marshal and Deputy Grand Marshal. Whereas the annual Belmar St. Patrick's Day Parade is on March 4th, 2018, and whereas the Belmar St. Patrick's Day Parade Grand Marshal Dan Riley and Deputy Grand Marshal Pat Jenkins will lead this historic event down Main Street in Belmar, and whereas Grand Marshal Dan Riley and Deputy Grand Marshal Pat Jenkins have demonstrated consistent and admirable service to Belmar and the Irish community. And whereas the Belmar St. Patrick's Day Parade marks this time-honored Belmar tradition and the honoring of our Irish heritage, the selection of Dan Riley and Pat Jenkins as Grand and Deputy Grand Marshal for the parade celebrate the strength and honor of Belmar's Irish leaders. And whereas the Borough of Belmar wishes to recognize Grand Marshal Dan Riley and Deputy Grand Marshal Pat Jenkins for their service to the borough and the Irish community, now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and members of the Borough Council hereby extend on behalf of all Belmar residents sincere congratulations for their designation as Grand and Deputy Grand Marshal of the historic Belmar St. Patrick's Day Parade.
I'm very honored for this. I mean, it's a great honor. I've been coming to this parade for a long time, and it's a great show that everybody puts on here with the parade committee. The mayor here, he's Irish and all that stuff. Everybody here, it's just a great day out. I hope you get your Irish on. And hope we have good weather. And I'd like to thank my Queen Eileen.
Chip, you want to say a few words about the parade?
Sure. The parade's getting close. We're putting the final touches on it. As usual, we're going to have quite a few pipe bands. There's floats, there's a few high school bands, a couple grammar school bands, and it'll be another great parade.
Excellent.
That's it.
So next order of business is the beach chair and umbrella rental concession. I'll turn it over to our illustrious attorney, Greg Cannon, for the bidding process.
Thank you, Gary. This time the borough will entertain bids and auction format for the beach chair and umbrella rental concessions. This is 4 locations on the beachfront, the borough of Belmar. A bid deposit of $500 is required. At this time, anyone wishing to bid on the concession, I ask that you bring your bid deposit of $500 forward to Borough Administrator Colleen Connolly. Also, please provide Ms. Connolly with your name and address and the name of your business entity, if any, under which you've been named.
April, Stephen Angelos. Sir? Just one.
Actually, right after you give your deposit. That is Justin Sokol, S-O-K-O-L. Hi. How you doing? Hello. Okay. We answered that with that. All right. Yeah. This is Tiffany Bowden for Richard. Okay. So the way this works, just kind of stand right here. Mr. Cannon will lead you through the bidding process.
Okay, now I have 5 people, I have 4 bidding entities, is that correct? These two are together, correct? Okay, so we'll assign it this way, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? The opening bid is $2,500. Is anyone willing to bid $2,500? Bidder number 1 bids $2,500. Anyone willing to bid $3,000? $3,000. Bidder number 3, we're at $3,000. $3,500. Is anyone willing to do $3,500? Bidder number 1 to $3,500. Current bid is $3,500. So I hear $4,000. Bidder number 2 at $4,000. $4,000 is the bid. So I hear $4,500. $4,500. Bidder number 1, $4,500. So I hear $5,000. Current bid is $4,500. Bidder number 1. Bidder number 2 bids $5,000. We're now at $5,000. So I hear $5,500. Bidder number 1 at $5,500. Current bid is $5,500. Do I hear $6,000? $6,000 to bidder number 2. We're at $6,000 is the current bid. Do I hear $6,500? Oh, we have 2 bids at $6,500. I'm going to ask for a bid to $7,000. And bidder number 3 is at $7,000. $7,000 is the current bid. Do I hear $7,500? Bidder number 1 at $7,500. Do I hear $8,000? Bidder number 2 at $8,000. $8,000 is the bid. Do I hear $8,500? Bidder number 1 at $8,500. Do I hear $9,000? Current bid is $8,500. Looking for $9,000. Bidder number 2 at $9,000. Current price is $9,000. Do I hear $9,500? Bidder number 1 at $9,500. Current bid is $9,500. Do I hear $10,000? $10,000 to bidder number 2. Current bid is $10,000. Do I hear $10,500? Bidder number 1 at $10,500. Do I hear $11,000? Current bid at $10,500 to bidder number 1. $11,000 to bidder number 2. Current bid is $11,000. $11,500. Do I hear $11,500? Current bid is $11,000. $11,500 to bidder number 1. Do I hear $12,000? Current bid is $11,000. Bidder number 2 at $12,000. $12,000 is the bid. Do I hear $12,500? $12,500. Current bid is $12,000. $12,000 going once. $12,000 going twice. Bidder number 2 is the winner at $12,000. Congratulations.
We're going to be able to take some more of your information. We're returning the other bid deposits now. Bidders who are unsuccessful, so sorry, but you can come up and get your bid deposits back right now.
Phone number.
Thanks for bidding. Mayor, you can just give us 2 minutes to get settled and then we'll be on our way.
Superintendent Campbell knows he's up next.
Yes, I want to introduce him.
My what?
Business card and March meeting.
No, but I'll...
We're back up. Next is our workshop discussion. First item on it is the summer rental garbage pickup. Superintendent Campbell, would you like to brief us on the exciting summer rental garbage pickup?
Sure. We have what's known as a special pickup for rental properties in Belmar. It is a Monday pickup Whether you're scheduled for a pickup on that day or not, you're allowed to use that in the way it was handled. There's approximately 80 some plus houses that used it. I had spoken with Colleen, and it's our intention to disband the policy of the summer garbage, the special summer garbage pickup. Really what happens is the rental properties start putting out their garbage on Saturday after the cleanups from Friday. They put them out Sunday, and then when the garbage is picked up on Monday, the cans, broken items, whatever else is left there, doesn't get put back for the whole week. That's when we call code enforcement. Code enforcement has to go over and cite the people. It is our proposal that we just hold everybody to the same standard as everybody in town, and you put out the garbage when you have to, in the same manner that everybody has to, and everybody's held to the same standards. We think it would be better for a cleaner town and a lot less complaints on the rental houses for garbage.
Mike, what about people that leave on a Sunday and their scheduled pickup is Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Okay, there's no pickup on Wednesday?
Well, Wednesday would be recycling. You're either a Monday pickup or a Tuesday pickup.
Okay.
So if you were a Tuesday pickup, that's what originally what it was meant for, to help people in that situation. The problem is people are not doing that, and then they're not bringing the cans or anything else back in. So it's my proposal that, and I spoke with code enforcement, the landlord, the tenants, whomever, come back down or hire a child in the neighborhood. My sons used to do it. You pull out the garbage for the people, put the cans back, whatever it's going to be. You just make arrangements to make it happen, and you be like everybody else in town. The problem is when you put out the garbage way too early and then you leave it because you're just leaving out of town, animals get to it, foul weather, it gets all over. The people that are next door complain. Other people see you doing that, don't understand that there's a special pickup, so they say, hey, they're doing it on a Monday, so why can't I do it on a Monday? And you leave the stuff out, and then code enforcement, unfortunately, has to go and cite those people that just didn't understand the rules. Again, it's my opinion that if you just leave everybody to the same rules, the people that are renting will make the necessary arrangements to get their garbage out. It's not a huge deal, and I think it makes it for a cleaner Belmar.
So if council wishes us to proceed with this, what we suggest, and we've used this model in the past with our housing and code enforcement office, is do a good deal of education at the time of CO, so that renters understand it's a change in policy. Here's the trash day. Your responsibility is to put it out in accordance with our code. But I would anticipate a shift in behavior would have to come with enforcement, which is why Officer Puff's standing behind me. It would be his responsibility to work in coordination with Public Works on identifying properties that are not complying with the new procedure.
What I'd like to do, Mr. Mayor, is that my office wrote approximately about 115 summonses last year for garbage or sanitation, something like in that area. But what I'd like to do is, when they apply for their license for the CO, we give them, the person applying for it, a copy of the garbage schedule. Then we give another copy and leave it at the house when we do our inspection. This way we know the landlord has it, we know the tenant has it. And I think that's a better way of, handling to make sure everybody's notified.
So this recommendation came up about in our, annually, we take a look at how the season went, we workshop it with each other, we make recommendations for things to change for the new year, and that's how this came out of that, came before you today. One of our largest complaints that we see throughout the season typically is on a Monday morning from a year-round resident living in a neighborhood near a rental. And we'll get a complaint that there is garbage strewn, bags broken open. We jokingly refer to it as the trash SWAT because Mike goes down with guys ready to clean up. Bob follows with the ticket book. And as a result, it's a nuisance for the neighborhood because trash has been put out too early, animals have gotten into it, instead of forcing even the rental properties to comply with our year-round garbage schedule.
All right, I'm not following, I'm sorry. So someone leaves Sunday night, and their pickup is not until Tuesday. When do they put out their trash?
Monday night.
But they're not there.
If it's a rental property, again, the landlord would either hire somebody, he would have to come by, or somebody else in the rental property. They don't leave them vacant all week, there's usually somebody there, will just have to take the garbage out. The problem is, like Colleen said, when they're putting out their cans, which started out as recycling, then it went to full trash, now it's on regular bulk because you get broken tables, chairs, beach chairs, things like that. They throw out everything there, which they're not supposed to be doing, and then the people in the neighborhood are complaining, saying, why can they do all this when we can't put out our bulk until the second pickup, which is our Thursday or our Friday or whatever it's going to be. And those are the complaints that we're getting. So again, you can hire somebody in the neighborhood, hire a neighborhood kid, somebody just to pull out your cans and put them out the night they're supposed to be, like everybody else. If
I
you
may be
go
a
on
little
vacation-
skeptical, but I think a lot of rental properties aren't going to do that. And I think a lot of the landlords are absentee landlords. So, it's worth a try, but, I'm skeptical whether or not it's going to work.
I think if Bob Pop does as he says he will, and I'm sure he will, and presents them with, here's the schedule, garbage schedule, and here's what you're supposed to be doing, they're not paying the extra fee. I think it was $100 and something, or around $100 to get this special pickup. So they know they haven't paid that, there is no special pickup, here's when we're supposed to be pulling it out. It's your responsibility, same as if another house goes on vacation or does whatever they're doing to get the garbage in and get the garbage out. It's just holding everybody else accountable, same as everybody else in Belmar.
Sounds good. I just don't think.
We have a bad situation now, we're trying to figure out a way to make it better.
Yeah.
Enforcement is not the issue because Bob goes down with Frank every single Monday, starting from the first to the last, and has to not only ticket those people, but hear from the neighbors saying, why is this allowed? Well, what we can do is write the ticket, ma'am. All we can do is, I'm trying to make something better. Hold everybody accountable, and the regular pickups are not the problem. So again, when these people have to do it and put it out like normal residents of Belmar, not just special on Monday, I can throw out anything I want and start putting it out on Saturday morning, on Sunday morning. You're supposed to put it out after 6 o'clock the night before. That's what the ordinance reads.
What parts of towns are Tuesday collections? From B Street West?
That's correct.
B Street all the way down to Pine Tree, Maplewood?
Yes. That's Tuesday and Friday.
Well, it seems to me like that was put in place to solve a problem, and it's not
Correct.
solving the problem.
It is not.
So, I think you're absolutely right. Go back to the way it was and try to figure out something better from there. But I mean, obviously, it was put into place to try to solve a problem, and it's absolutely not. So,
It is not.
if you're making the recommendation to put it back to the way it was, I definitely agree with that.
Thank you.
All right, any questions or comments for Mr. Campbell? No? All right. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Bob. Next on our workshop is school safety. So I think we all saw the headlines and witnessed on TV what happened in Parkland, Florida. What a lot of us may not be cognizant of, which is as alarming, if not even worse, is that it's actually the 18th school shooting of just this year. So the idea that we can hope something like this doesn't happen in our community is not a real strategy. And it's incumbent on us to provide public safety for all of our residents, most importantly, for children, particularly in school. So I've been working with our borough administrator and our chief of police, along with the superintendent of Belmar Elementary School, Dave Hallman, about posting a police officer in the school. This police officer would serve, obviously, as a deterrent and be there to protect not just the students, but also the teachers and administrators. And it would also serve a dual function as a resource officer within the school. This is a pretty extreme step for us in this town But again, in today's day and age, to think, or to hope something doesn't happen is not a strategy, particularly when our number one objective or number one responsibility is protecting the residents of this town. So we're going to move forward on that, directed Colleen to work with the chief of police on coming up with a good match, a good officer for that post. And this will not be something that's going to be there for a week and gone, or there for a month and gone. This is going to be something that's going to be ongoing into the future, because I don't think any of us believe that this is somehow going to all of a sudden end. Unfortunately, gun violence in our society is going to be continuing unabated moving forward. I will tell you one sliver of not good news, but news anyway, is that evidently there's a congressman from New Jersey who is introducing legislation to pay the towns to put a police officer in their schools. So right now, this would be borne by the taxpayers of the borough of Belmar, the cost of this. But there may be an opportunity for us to recoup some, if not all, of that cost from the federal government, which doesn't seem to want to do anything to actually address gun safety. So instead, they'd rather pay with tax dollars to have someone there. But this will begin pretty soon as soon as we work out the details with the superintendent. I just wanted to make the council and the public aware of it.
I just have a question, Mayor.
Sure.
When I was on the school board, we put 2 off-duty police officers in the school. Are they still there, or they're not? Because we always had a police officer in the school, and then whether it was manpower issues or whatever it was a school resource officer for many years, and then for some reason, the police department, and I don't know the exact reason, took him out of the school, and then being on the school board, we had hired 2 off-duty police officers who were inside the school. Now, are they still there, or?
I believe there's at least one, but I do not believe that they carry.
No, they don't carry. No, I know that.
The police officer from Belmar will carry in school.
Yeah, okay.
So, and if I may, Mayor, I can brief the council just on what we are doing and have been doing already in terms of school safety and active shooter situations, so that you have that basis of information. We have, since 2013, been an active member of what's called the Active Shooter Partnership, or ASP. We work with neighboring municipalities. We train in each other's schools so that they are familiar with our schools and we are familiar with them. We participate in school lockdown drills as requested by Belmar Elementary. As state law requires, we have to be invited in by the school to participate in their protocols, and Belmar has always asked us to come in. So we do that whenever they need. As you all know, we have a significant law enforcement presence at Belmar Elementary at the start of the day and dismissal around the school. We do periodic walkthroughs of elementary school during the day with our officers. We have specific officers designated as a liaison to each school in Belmar, whether you are St. Rose Grammar School or Belmar Elementary, where you have an officer dedicated to contact if you're going to do a lockdown drill, if you need something special or different during the day. And then this has been a recent reemphasis on deploying our law enforcement against drugs, which is LEAD, where Belmar PD has an active presence in the schools to promote anti-drugs, violence, and bullying education for our community. So that's what we're doing already, which is a good deal. But what we all have felt here on the ground, and what I've been hearing from all of you as well, is that we need to do more. And so that's where this recommendation would come from, to ask the chief to figure out staffing a post in the school.
You know, I'm glad we're doing something, but the high school did have an armed policeman in the school.
Correct.
Person just went in another door, went to another section of the school. We got to do something, but I think the real corrective problem is from the federal government, state government to make tougher gun control laws. You know, you can put an officer in Belmar Elementary, but there are doors, kids go through different doors all day long.
It's better than nothing.
I hear you, and I agree with you, Council President. Something that we've talked about here with the police officers is that in a time where we have, as a municipality, very little control over how gun laws are made in this country, we do at least have a responsibility to protect and care for our children. And so, while it's not a silver bullet, it's what we have.
Bad choice of words.
A very bad choice of words. I apologize for that. It is what we have.
Next on our workshop discussion is Verizon Wi-Fi on the beachfront. Greg, you want to bring us up to date as to what the status of that is?
Sure. So
The status?
Thank you, Barry. The last time we all met here and spoke, the question centered around whether the poles were in the right-of-way or not. The administrator found plans for the county road that indicates that the poles are not in the right-of-way and therefore are municipal property. The municipality would therefore have to bid for such a project. I'm sorry, I thought I was talking into the mic, I apologize. Municipality would have to bid the project because it's on public land and you have multiple service projects treated everybody equally. My concern in general, and one that the administrator brought up as well, is this agreement is every third pole, but there's two other open poles. The Telecommunications Act, which is federal law, prohibits local government from, quote, unreasonably discriminating among providers of functionally equivalent services. That's 47 U.S. Section 332. My fear, I'm remiss if I don't advise the governing body of the risk that I cannot guarantee there would be a lawsuit to go up on the other two poles. So that's a consideration I think you have to take into account when thinking about the deal and what's being presented. Beyond that, I mean, it generally operates like any other water tower would have you in town, but of course it's the most important aesthetic feature of the town. So the policy issue is really up to you. But legally, that's where we stand at this point. The answer is a contract, but it has to be bid. And there's no guarantee, I can't guarantee you that there wouldn't be other people seeking contracts for other locations, or specifically on the boardwalk.
All right. Does everyone understand what he says?
Yes.
Or means? So we were presented with an opportunity to have free Wi-Fi on the beach for 5 years if we permitted Verizon to put nodes up on every third pole on the beachfront. Now, one of the things that we had considered about a month ago was that if it's in a right-of-way, you really can't prevent them from being up there anyway. So if you go down Route 35, there's a right-of-way where the power company can come and put a pole and string a line, and there's nothing the town can do about that. They have the right to be there. Again, right-of-way. In this case, we discovered that Ocean Avenue, the right-of-way ends where the boardwalk begins. So the boardwalk is not within the right-of-way, as we had suspected about a month ago. So that means the boardwalk is actually a structure owned by the residents of the borough of Belmar. So if we did want to entertain Verizon's offer, it would have to go out to a public bid, just like we did this today, right? Just like we did with the beach chairs and umbrellas, similar fashion. And we have no idea what we get back. Because we told them they'd have to go with the bid, it's fair to describe Verizon as now being uninterested in being up on the Belmar Beach.
I don't want to speak for them, but they would not advance the deal, let's put it that way.
Correct.
I wouldn't say they nullified everything, but it's definitely put cool.
Correct. Because again, the state requires us, just like the beach chairs and umbrellas, to bid it out in a public bid, whether RFQ or bid. So there will be no Wi-Fi.
Not reasonable.
That concludes our workshop, unless there's anything else other members of the council wanted to add on. Nope. Next are petitions. Any petitions for the mayor and council? I don't see any. Next, I'll entertain approval of the minutes.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 6, 2018 be approved as reported, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next are reports of council. Council President McGovern, would you like to start us off?
Thank you very much.
First, I'd like to congratulate Griffin McDermott from 6th Avenue, Belmar. He was just accepted into Annapolis, just in time for his brother Colin, who's graduating West Point this spring. Would have been an interesting Army-Navy game in the McDermott household come the fall. Last Tuesday, the Historical Society had a very successful show and tell. Several people from out of town came to the new community center on 7th Avenue and D Street, and it was very interesting if you're into the history of Belmar. Some people came with items that they had in their home for many, many years and tried to explain it to us. Good job. Just want to thank the DPW. I spoke to Mike Campbell a couple of weeks ago about North Boulevard at Lake Como, about the possibly seeing if we could get some type of pathway there for the people to walk. A couple of years ago after the storm, we put up a berm. Following that, we planted some dune grass and some shrubs and put up some boulders for landscaping, and that worked very well. But it seems like the people had to walk in the street, especially if they had a dog or they parked their car, and to walk to the beach. So a couple weeks ago, I mentioned it to Mike, and I drove by at the beginning of this week, and it's almost done. It looks great. I saw people walking and walked on it today. So Mike, thank you, and your crew, they did a great job. Once the pipe goes in, I guess we'll finish it right up to the Ocean Avenue?
Correct.
Great. I think that will be much appreciated by the people over there. And again, my condolences to the victims of Parkland, Florida High School. I hope something can be done on the federal side and state in Trenton to some type control this crazy gun situation that we have in the country. There's so many issues, can't address them all right now, but if we can tighten it up, I think it makes everybody safer. That's my report.
Councilman Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Brennan and myself attended the Harbor Commission meeting. It's still ongoing talks about how to market the marina, and I think we're to the point now that we're going to have to bring in some expert marketing people and ask them to present some type of a plan that we can take a look at. And when we do that, I'm sure there's going to be a cost involved. We'll bring that back to the council to see that maybe we could hire one of these people to figure out how to market the marina. I understand there's a couple more boats that left, and I haven't seen any new people on the horizon coming in, so we're going to have to reach out to some of the people that don't know about the marina and try to get them to come in and put their boats in the marina. The only thing is I want to talk about the school shooting a little bit, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but me being on the police department for a long time, we in the state of New Jersey actually do what the federal government is trying to push for, background checks, and a lot of different things that we do in the state of New Jersey. I'm surprised the federal government isn't looking at what we do, but we do extensive background checks. We have a lot of people that don't get guns because of background checks that we do. And the legislatures in the state of New Jersey have put already that in place. So I just wanted to let everybody know that.
Thank you. Councilwoman Eckley.
Just a couple quick things. Arts Council has a new exhibit called the Book Art Show. So it's any type of work of art created from books from February 21st through March 23rd. And the Belmar Avon Lake Como softball baseball season signups are taking place. It's every Monday and Tuesday through February 27th from 6 to 8:30, and Saturdays through March 3rd, 9 to 2. So if you have any young children to play softball or baseball, please sign them up. And that's it.
Thank you. Only thing I want to talk about in my report is our current situation with our lifeguards. So the rumor mill has been working overtime regarding our lifeguards and the situation with our lifeguards. So just wanted to address that tonight so that everyone hears from me at one time what the actual situation is. So last summer, for the first time since I've been mayor, I had different people talk to me with concerns that there were lifeguard stands that were either unattended or were down in the sand and unattended during normal swimming hours. So not before Memorial Day, not after Labor Day, not when it was raining outside, but on a normal day, in normal hours, not after hours either. I brought that concern to our chief of police because our chief of police is ultimately responsible for the lifeguards because he's also the head of public safety. I myself went down a few times. I typically go to 4th Avenue with my family. Never saw an unguarded stand there. I took a walk all the way down to 20th, and I saw numerous unguarded stands along the way. Again, I brought this to the attention of our chief of police and asked him to address it, as this is responsibility. During the off-season, the chief, Colin Conley, and I, our business administrator, sat down, and the chief's plan was twofold. One, to open up and ask for applications. Anyone who is currently a lifeguard, I believe, received a letter, or should have received a letter from the chief, I think encouraging them to apply to return this year to Belmar. And the second thing was also to increase the starting salary because he believes it's getting more difficult to find people who want to lifeguard, particularly on a busy beach like Belmar. Belmar Beach is no rest for the weary. So that's our current situation. So if anyone tells you anything different than that, they are not telling the truth. That's where we're at. So if you are or if you were a lifeguard in Belmar last year, we would encourage you to apply. You'll be interviewed or go through whatever process the chief and the business administrator put in place. If you know other people, again, it seems as though we need additional lifeguards in Belmar. When I saw the stands that were unattended, to me, as the mayor, that seems to be a misallocation of resources. If I saw DPW employees that weren't where they're supposed to be, I would bring that up to our superintendent. If I saw police officers or lack of police officers where they're supposed to be, I would bring that up to our chief of police. So our chief of police is the one who is in charge of the lifeguards, and he's the one managing the process, along with our business administrator. So again, I can't debunk every rumor. I wouldn't have enough time, and you don't want to hear me talk that long, but at least you can hear it directly from me tonight, because obviously there's a lot of lifeguards in the audience. That concludes my report. Next is public session for the resolution calendar. Anyone with a comment, question on the resolution calendar, raise your hand, wait to be called on, come to the microphone, state name, address for the record, and what you'd like to talk about on the resolution calendar. Yes, ma'am.
Is that for the garbage? No, okay, sorry.
Anyone else want to talk about it? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public session for the resolution calendar.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, I'll turn the resolutions over to Council President McGovern.
Thank you. First resolution, I offer a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the payment of bills. Do I have a second? Second.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Luxford?
Just one question on the payment for the seniors. That's just a reimbursement?
I'm sorry,
There was a payment on the bill list for Broadway.
that goes to our recreational trust fund, and the fees so that the users do pay back that fee. It's like a revolving account.
Luxford?
All right. Yes.
Councilman Montgomery?
Yes. Next, I offer the motion to adopt the resolution authorizing state contract purchase of emergency vehicles, which is a new police car. Do I have a second? Second.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Luxford?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Colleen, can you tell us a little bit why we're doing this now?
Yes, because it's time. As council is very aware, in the aftermath of Sandy, we lost a lot of the fleet, we replaced a lot of the fleet. We are very cognizant, and the chief and his staff has been very vigilant in reminding us that at some point it needs to start cycling out vehicles. We certainly don't want an entire fleet aging at the same time. And so this is a state contract purchase. It's a good price. It's pre-bid negotiated by the state of New Jersey. This will allow us to introduce a vehicle and retire a car or repurpose it. We are in the process of doing that, and we'd like to get the new vehicle online in time for Memorial Day.
Can I ask Mike, how do we choose which one goes and which one we buy?
Like the Borough Administrator just mentioned, this is a rare situation for us. The fleet was replaced all at once.
Yeah.
Typically, we would just take the oldest vehicles. However, they're all purchased at once. The plan is to get a mechanical inspection of the fleet and take which cars are not up to par.
Do you go by mileage or do you go by like hours on the car?
You hit both. Mileages are deceiving. These cars are running 24 hours a day. So even if they're idling running radar, it's not showing on the odometer. So that doesn't always indicate how old these vehicles are. So both, to answer your question.
Tom, I'm sorry, I didn't see you over there. I would have asked you.
No, Mike had the right answer.
Okay, good. All right, my answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
You are welcome.
Next is the consent agenda. I'll offer the consent agenda.
Second?
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Downey?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Councilman Montgomery?
Yes.
Next are ordinances. First reading and introduction. Ordinance 2018-1. Ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 19, Traffic of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Belmar, Section 19-46, Handicap Parking Spaces. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Downey?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Councilman Montgomery?
Question. Do we retire handicap parking spaces, say, and add new ones, or how does that work?
They are two spots in front of individual residences. So when those people are no longer living there, the police department determines that those spots are no longer needed to be handicapped because there's not a handicapped person living in that home.
Can anybody handicap park there, or just the resident?
Anyone.
Anyone can. Yes.
Next, first reading introduction ordinance 2018-02, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 40 of the Revised General Ordinance of the Borough of Belmar, Sections 40-3.14 fees. Have a second.
Second.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Downey?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Councilman Montgomery?
Yes.
Concludes our ordinances. Next is public session. Public session is very simple. Raise your hand, wait to be called on, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and tell us what's on your mind. Yes. Yes.
John Corallo, A Street. What fee is on the ordinance? It says you're increasing where...
Last year, we increased fees for zoning applications, and then we found a section in the ordinance that listed the fees. So all that ordinance is doing is taking out those fees because they were set by resolution. It's not ordinance, just cleaning up the
The fees
ordinance.
the fees were set last year, so April found that something to clean up in the ordinance.
Okay, that's one. Secondly, the senior building is working out very nicely.
Yes.
You know, we're more and more people going, and Ray is a plus. Claudio, doing a wonderful job. So, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Christine Carlino, 15th Avenue. I've been here a few times before you about the stop signs to hopefully address the speeding problem on 15th Avenue. Kids are out on their bikes today, cars are speeding by. The traffic noise from speeding cars starts at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning during the week. And I was just wondering, when are the stop signs going to go in?
Business Administrator?
Yeah, so
When
I
are stop
know
signs
the
going to go in?
police department has been working with our CFO. I will make sure that the package is accelerated because they need to get out there.
That was great.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Maria Florio, 115 12th Avenue. I have two. First of all, with the garbage, Pop knows that I call quite often because I have rentals next to me and down. They don't even put their garbage out. It's in the backyard, right? For how many days? Now, if they hire someone, will they go in the back and pick the garbage up? I
That's
don't
what they would
know.
be hired to do, yes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll look forward to that, because it is horrendous on 12th Avenue with the rentals there. Number two is the dogs on the boardwalk. Now, there are signs that say no dogs and no bicycles on the boardwalk or the beach. Now, what is the law there?
Dogs are permitted on the beach during certain times, but they're not permitted on the boardwalk. And riding your bicycle is permitted on the boardwalk during certain times as well.
Well, those signs don't have any time at all. I have two pictures of two signs next to one another that have no time at all. It just says no beach and no boardwalk. So,
I will bring this up to our sign aficionado, Mike Campbell, the older one, not the younger one, and he will address it.
I'll go with the older one.
Not the good one.
Okay.
The ball.
I don't want to be a cougar. But anyway,
You
that's
could be a
it.
cougar. Look at that, Mike. Come on. Go, LT.
I might. But anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Here, Councilman, let's go.
Bill Kratz. I've been a 30-year resident of Belmar. I worked on Belmar Beach for more than 40 years, the last 15 as supervisor, assistant supervisor. I'm embarrassed at the way this was handled. In all my years, I never got a registered letter to tell me to reapply. It sounds like something's happening. And Mayor, with regard to the stands being down, I guarantee you weren't walking in June or July because they hire as many qualified people as they can find. And then starting August 6th, our college kids start going back. Our football coaches start coaching. Our field hockey coaches start coaching. Our swim coaches are going. Our soccer coaches are going. What's a lifeguard captain to do if he's got 3 stands on the beach and only 5 guys on the beach? You can't put up 3 stands with 5 people. That's a safety violation. My rule was there was always 3 people per stand. So if we had a beach with 3 stands, we had 9 guards, and 6 of them were always on the stand. And that's the same rule that this administration tried to follow, but they can't do it if when the kids go back to school. And you may be upping your prices, but you're not competing with Uber and Lyft and barbacks. They're making a whole lot more money than Belmar lifeguards. So I think I hope that this doesn't hurt Belmar, because I kind of think it is, because I think quite a few of these people are going to fly for other beaches, and I think it was a big mistake.
I will tell you though, Bill, and we're friends, I was there in July this year.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was in charge in July, in the beginning of the day, when the guys are doing their workouts, all 3 stands would be set up, not all manned, and then if we saw people, let's say we're talking about 9th, 10th, and 11th, and we saw a family go down by 9th Avenue, the captain would say to the people, get a guy and go sit on that 9th Avenue stand until the guys are done with their workout. But I doubt if it was July. I don't think it's July or June, because they hire more than they need because they know they're going to lose.
I'm just telling you, and I will tell you that, again, I said this, I've been the mayor, this is my 8th year. I've never had anyone ever come up to me and bring it as a concern until last summer. And that's why I brought it to the chief of police, and don't get me wrong, the chief of police runs the public safety, which runs the lifeguards, but, ultimately it's my decision. So I support the chief of police. I want to make sure everyone understands that as well.
Well, they hired 12 lifeguards last year, and I said to Ray, who was the boss, I said, Ray, you should have hired more. He goes, I couldn't. They weren't good enough to hire. You can't hire people that can't swim and run. That's not going to work. You could teach them to row, and you could teach them to do the other things. You could teach them CPR. You can't teach swimming in a short period.
Well, let me ask you this, because you do have a lot. Why do you think it is, I mean, you mentioned lift and some other ones. Why do you think it is more challenging to get qualified, capable lifeguards or people to want to get into it?
Money's the biggest thing. Money's the biggest thing. And at time, our lifeguards, most of the time, we want them 5 days a week. And at the end of the season, I know that these guys were saying the same thing I would do. Work 6, work 7. They're not saying to the kids, take off. They can't man all the stands that they have. We have more beaches than almost anybody. But if you talk to Seagirt, you talk to Manasquan, you talk to Spring Lake, they can't cover all their stands either. And Spring Lake only puts 2 people on a stand, and when they have lunches, they only have 1. I don't know what the answer is. The answer is...
But do you think there's a trend?
Oh, definitely. It was way... Mr. McGovern was a lifeguard. It was way more fashionable to be a lifeguard. I tried to be a lifeguard.
He was a lifeguard a long time ago.
Well, I was a lifeguard before him, and it was... People do it, 40 or 50 people would try out. And then if they wouldn't make it, they'd be back, the same kids would be back the next year. That doesn't happen now. We're lucky if we get 20 applications, 15 show up, and then maybe hires 12 sometimes.
And out of those 12, how many stick through the season, you think?
How many last till Labor Day? 1, 2, they're college kids.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
My name is Mickey McDonald. Can you hear me?
Yep. Just go ahead.
Mickey McDonald. I live on 4th Avenue in Bradley Beach. And just my background, was a lifeguard many years ago, beach supervisor for one of the New York City beaches. Then became a fireman, became a supervisor in the New York City Fire Department. I've been around serious issues of life safety, serious issues through 9/11, worked in the busiest firehouses. It's all my whole life has been about life and safety. I'm here as a beach patron. I drove for years from Monroe Township to come to this beach. 4 of my sons were lifeguards here. I think I know the routine here pretty well. I know life safety, as I said, and I do know beaches quite well. I was also a collegiate swimmer. I also coach kids. I also try to recruit and direct many of my better swimmers that have the potential to be lifeguards at Belmar, some of which are still employed here. I can't always account for why people go elsewhere, but I can tell you pay is key. A number of the ones I tried to direct here over the last 2 years went elsewhere because the pay is woefully inadequate. It's not an easy beach. This beach, I think in one of the articles I read, Mayor, NewJersey.com perhaps, you talked about the lifeguards here being special, being very good lifeguards, blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, it's not really mutually exclusive of the other. So if you have the supervisors and they're doing the right job, then you're going to have the lifeguards as well that are doing a good job. The lifeguards don't just show up and do a great job. There's a lot of water that goes under the bridge. When you watch rescues, when you watch major washouts, when you watch 6, 8, 10 people drifting away almost as quickly as the lifeguards can get down there and get out there, and you see how many people it takes to respond to get there, I'm a bit of a buff, so when I'm here, I like to watch this stuff. I've seen sometimes 2, sometimes 3 issues going down within a span of 6, 8 blocks on the beach. A lot of people aren't aware of it. Things come, things go. People somehow can connect the dots. 5 years ago, and I'm a pretty good waterman, I consider myself quite a good swimmer. Some big swells, we were out in the water, and I ended up getting pile driven on my forehead into the beach. Problem was, it was low tide, so you had to get out, you had to get past the beach, back out into the swell. When I got injured and I got hurt out there, I was paralyzed, I couldn't move, I was in and out of consciousness, and I was about 150 yards from the shore with massive waves breaking on my head. As you can imagine, the Belmar lifeguards did what they had to do. Not only did they get to me and very, very delicately package me up and do what they had to do to get me out of harm's way and to the beach, they packaged me up in a proper fashion and got me to Jersey Shore Medical, where I spent several days, and ultimately through meds and some real good luck and some good treatment from the lifeguards, I'm standing here today, feeling pretty good. The issues here, I'm getting mixed signals here. I think, as I understand it right, that the supervisors were being replaced. And I don't quite get it. First of all, I want to digress a minute too. By the way, in 1993, my mother drowned at a beach that was not so well guarded.
Yeah, 1 more minute, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm a little passionate about this, having lost my mother with a family full of collegiate swimmers and so on. But so to take this back, so I think I just kind of feel strange about the way this is being handled, and I think really the dialogue, and what I didn't hear was that somebody went and discussed or had a sit down with the chief and or the captains and said, what's the story about these stands? Happens all the time in South Jersey. They got a red flag. They're closed all the time. Every 4th, 5th stand. I think I'm appealing to all of you here, your sense of common decency, and realize people have given their lives really in what they do here, their adult lives, working here, teaching people, developing what they do here at this beach. I think you need to have a dialogue and sit down and say, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what can be changed. Oh, we're going to get new supervisors. Well, I could just tell you right now, in my humble opinion, it's going to really cause a significant problem in the future. You're going to be really short.
Thank you, sir.
All right?
Thank you. Other comments, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mayor. We're at 210 12th Avenue, and our house is always having a high water bill. And I also had a high water bill. It's a 2-family house. And until I had the meter taken out of the curb and put in my house, I'm no longer getting hit with high water bills. Now the first floor is getting hit with high water bills. And we don't understand why this is happening. It's repeatedly happening to our house. We don't know if somebody's tapping into our water. But like I said, it happened to another neighbor, and now it's happening to us again. And it's happening with his first floor.
We're here summers, and we're here basically on weekends. We live up in North. We've had our house in Belmar for, I don't know, 35 years, 32 years, whatever. But, $1,500 water bill. And they told us that we use 99,000 gallons of water. How could that be? We went down, we saw you
Got a leak. My water bill is $2,400.
We had 2 plumbers come and check. We had no leaks. Then the town sent the meter guy down, and he said there was no leak. So we don't know where the water's going or what's going on.
All right, have you already gone into the office and talked with the folks that are responsible for
Yes,
the...
we have. We're not getting cooperation. I'm sorry. But there's no way we're using this amount of water.
How many gallons it says? 90,000?
99,000. I was using it too until I had my meter installed inside my house, which cost me $900 to do it.
But the bills are erratic. We got, I think our average bill is $150, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we'll get a $900 bill.
And like I said, this time we have $1,500 bill. And they're telling us that our next bill is over $1,000. I don't know how it could be.
All right, well, this is something for, certainly for the Department of Public Works to research and find out why.
Mr. Rundler.
Yes, yes, he's, yep.
But I had this issue
good man.
until I put my meter inside the house. I'm not having this issue anymore. Somehow, out in the curb, someone's tapping in on water. It has to be that reason. I can't understand what's happening. Now it's happening to the first floor.
Is the first floor water meter outside as well?
No, it's inside.
No, yours is outside.
Oh, outside, sorry.
This is out, mine is inside, and I had the problem, and now they're having a problem. So I keep telling them they're gonna have to put the meter inside the house, which cost me almost $900 to do it. I had Mr. Pizzolato do it.
He does a good job.
He was great. And you also helped me too the last time, if you remember.
All right.
But this is stressing us out. It's stressing me out. You know, it's like, why is this happening?
Colleen, could it be a defective meter?
I know that the staff very nicely pulled the file for me, so I have the history. It's sitting on my desk right now. I'll take a look at it first thing in the morning with Mr. Campbell, and we'll be in touch.
When was the last time you came in to talk to someone in the office?
We've been, this is
Last
like the
week.
third time.
Last week?
Yeah,
last
3
week.
times we've been there. And, you know, it's like we're not getting cooperation, and I figure the only way we're gonna get results is talking to you. Because you helped me the last time, with my water bill. Now I'm getting normal water bills.
Understand.
Unless my cats are drinking a lot of water, I don't know what's going on.
Take a long showers. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, and we will hear from you.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Yes, sir.
Tom Dilberger, 1000 River Road. You brought up this thing of the shooting. I'd like to just talk about it for a little bit. The shooting down in Florida. And here, some of the comments talking about the federal government, this and that. For many years, I've been involved with the structural iron worker for close to 40 years. And I was on our apprentice program. I was a member of our apprentice program. And some 35 years ago or so, we started noticing some differences in young men coming aboard trying to be qualified for the ironworkers. There were certain differences in their motivation and mentality, their physical abilities and everything. But it was so early and everything, we didn't know what we were looking at. We're not educated people. We didn't understand what we were seeing. But now, after all these years, I've connected a few dots. What we were seeing was the beginnings of this new way of living that we are seeing today and everything. And you take it step by step by step, people they're having a hard time adjusting to this. Especially young men, boys, and everything. Has anybody a country western thing ever heard the song Folsom Prison?
Yeah.
I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That's as American as things get. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. It's always been that way, always will be that way. However, with a different way of living, this seldom going outside and interacting with other people and interacting with the physical environment and everything, we're seeing the culmination. And they're coming out like with these shootings, and people don't understand what they're seeing. They're blaming the utensil, the AR-15 or whatever weapon the young man uses. Your most dangerous element in any society is a young man from 16 to 26 or 27. Then he starts leveling out a little. But that area of young man, you gotta watch. And if you study these guys that have been doing this type of thing for the last 10, 15 years, and you look in depth, what people don't understand is most of these guys have been treated with antidepressant drugs Ritalin, Prozac, and Lord knows, there's hundreds of these things. And when you get the combination of the young man living in the manner they're living, watching those computer games forever and ever, not going out, not interacting, just interaction has become texting. At some point, you're seeing, not all of them, not all these people that are on these drugs, of course, but certain young men, it affects in certain manners. And he picks up a weapon, he goes into the school, or whatever. He beats his grandmother to death with a baseball bat, whatever comes in hand. He might be driving down the road and decide to run somebody down. It doesn't matter what it is. That's what you're seeing. It's not the implement. And it's not the government that's going to straighten it out, I guarantee you. Because this is a new method of living. It's here to stay. I mean, nobody's going to turn it back. Everybody's got your gadgets. You look at your gadgets constantly. You drive with them, you sleep with them, Lord knows what you do.
Hold on one second. Okay, I'm sorry.
Very good. And that's what you're seeing. That's exactly what you're seeing. It's not the weapon. That's just whatever a guy picks up at the moment. That's it. Put 20 policemen in the halls of the school. Doesn't matter. This stuff is still going to happen. And as they get smarter, they'll start putting the bombs together and everything. Then things are going to get really interesting. All right, that's the way it is.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
Corinne Wynkowski, South Concourse, Neptune. I was the assistant supervisor for the Belmar Beach Patrol for the last 4 years. I have 25 years of service to the town of Belmar, 36 years of service to the Jersey Shore, Manitowoc, Belmar, back in Tennyson, Spring Lake, and I spent my last 25 years in Belmar. A little nervous because trying to hold some emotion in. I have to say I was quite disappointed that I had to be informed through text from some co-workers, not lifeguards. I teach at St. Rose, about the borough meeting and the proposal that went down to replace the staff, the supervisory staff. And it happened in a meeting, and there was no prior conversation had with myself or the other people in the supervisory positions. I have to say, I felt very disrespected, and I feel that my 25 years of service deserve more than that. Also, I just wanted to know if we're going to clear up some myths and some misconceptions out there. Will the misinformation about the pay scale be sent out to the media? Because there was some misinformation that was out in the media this week about a starting salary of $850 for the rookies last year, and that's not true. It was over $10.
Okay.
And so
I think that came from our ordinance.
Yeah,
We can clarify.
I think that needs to be clarified because it really makes it look like we're paying people who press a button at McDonald's. So, and I know that we.
And I would tell you, I think that there's room for flexibility when it comes to salaries.
Right, and it's not just the salary, I don't want to negotiate salary here.
Sorry.
We did negotiate the salary, I just think what was put out to the media was incorrect. So I think that needs to be corrected.
And you're correct.
Yeah.
I think that number was drawn from an ordinance, and I can certainly correct it.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome, because like I said, we're trying to clear up some misconceptions and trying to all get everybody on the same page. So, I said that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chris Leo, beach captain, was the beach captain at 18th Avenue in Belmar.
I get to Belmar in '86. I worked at New York City Beach. I've been lifeguarding 40 years. 40 years. 40. Okay?
You don't even look for
I got 35.
I am a fireman, 28 years in the city of Yonkers in New York. EMT New York, EM2 New Jersey. CPR first aid instructor, New York State EMS instructor. NIMS. You guys take NIMS courses? NIMS. I can go on and on and on. You disrespected me and everybody here. That's disrespect. Praise in public, reprimand in private. You did nothing. You went behind everybody's back. That's terrible, terrible management. That's not management skills. Jen, you know me. You disrespected me. That's not right. I'll get on. I got hired in other towns already because they want me. I'm an EMT. I can do whatever I want to do. When nobody shows up, you go hire 70, 16-year-olds, and good luck, because that ocean does terrible things. And here's the people right here. All the guys I work with. These guys will run through a wall for me. Mismanagement. It starts right there. Right there. Look in the mirror. Thank you.
Chris Yoda. I'm a 5-year Belmar lifeguard. I live in Wall, lived in Belmar 2 summers. I'm a little nervous, so forgive me, but I love representing Belmar. I love being on the beach and rescuing people that don't know what they're doing. I don't know if you understand how many people don't know what they're doing in the water. I was trained by the best people that could possibly train me. It's not their fault. There's no lack of effort in trying to hire enough people. This past year, I believe we hired 12 new guards. I think 15 tried out, maybe 20. Hired 12 new guards. 5 of them quit before 4th of July because they just couldn't get through rookie camp. But it wasn't a lack of effort from our management trying to hire more people to keep those stands up. They tried to do it and they just couldn't get enough people. We talk about it every day. We want to be able to sit as many stands as possible because we don't want to have to run an extra beach and a half to make a rescue. That puts the pressure on us. It puts the pressure on us that we're more responsible for a wider area of beach and water. For example, late August, after college kids left, I was coming back from break, and it was one of those days where there was a storm offshore. There was 500 people on 18th Avenue. I'm on 14th Avenue. And I'm coming back from break, and I see the quads coming from headquarters. Just full on. They just say, jump on back. Because we had to go 4 blocks down to 18th Avenue, because they didn't have enough people. We piled in the back of the quads, had to go out for 5 or 6 people that were floating, that we had to do a line job and bring them in, because they didn't have enough people to adequately staff the beach. And it's not for a lack of effort from our management. There's something going on that younger kids either don't want to apply, or the ones that are applying are not adequate to, physically adequate to, or mentally adequate to hold a job. So I think a lot of new lifeguards go to other beaches. I don't know if what the answer is to that, but I just thought as a lower management, I'm rank and file in the letter. I'm represent the people that are in the water first responders, not organizing and telling people where to go. I'm the first person in the water and watching, and I feel like I need to say something. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor, Doherty, and Council. My name is John Polthuzin. I've been a lifeguard since 1984. I started in Seagirt. I worked there for many years. I came to Belmar in, I believe, 2006. I worked many years in Belmar, and it was the best place I ever worked. I do not want a lifeguard in another town. I would like to lifeguard in Belmar. However, you kind of put us all in a position, the way things are going down, where we all want to go somewhere else. I mean, I really want to work here. I'm the captain of 20th Avenue. I'd like to keep it that way. The people I've worked with, whether it be Ray, Billy, Harry, Timmy, they're great people. We should really talk about this before we make any rash decisions. Just think about this, what we're doing. This is going to have a bigger impact on next summer than you think. That's all.
Thank you. And just to be clear, the chief's letter laid out, do you have a copy of it?
I do.
Do I have a copy? I don't know if it's worth reading it, but, you know, I mean, here's what it says. Dear Belmar Lifeguard, I want to reach out to explain some changes that are coming to the Belmar beachfront for the 2018 season. We have made the decision to go in a new direction and hire new management for the Belmar lifeguards. We believe our rank and file lifeguards are the best working on the Jersey Shore. Enclosed is the 2018 lifeguard application. Please fill it out and send it in by April 1st, 2018. If you'd like to be considered for a management position, please include such interest in a cover letter with your application. We want the best of working for us, and we want the best to be proud of, to be a part of a lot of prepositions. A professional and well-trained team that will be the envy of the Jersey Shore. Please send in your 2018 application to my attention, 601 Main Street, Belmar, Georgia. A search committee has been established to find a lifeguard director and associate management positions that will advance our 2000 management priorities. We are looking forward to hire the best managers to create a team that you'll be proud to be a part of. Sincerely, Andrew Heisman, Chief of Police, Department of Public Safety. In the back of it was the application. I think that's as clear as possible.
What about Corinne?
This talks about going in a new direction on management.
What is considered management?
The problem. Yelling out questions. Yelling out questions. I believe other letters were sent out from the chief to renewal of lifeguard management positions for the coming year.
And they're welcome to reapply.
Correct. The borough, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing that you can reapply.
Why would you reapply to a job?
But how are we, and again, this is where, and rumors, things get churned up. Just sit down for 1 second. I'll call you in 1 minute. I promise. But, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. What the chief letter says, very specifically, is that he wants to take the management in a different direction, and he wants to keep the rank and file lifeguards in place. That's exactly what it reads. Because he thinks that's the right thing for the beachfront. Our chief of police believes that. I'm going to support, I always will, unapologetically, I'll always support what our chief of police thinks is best for public safety. So, again, I don't know if you didn't fully read the letters, or people are just trying to stir up, it's not semantics, stir up some flames and some passions. But please, go back and read it. If you say, hey, I want to be on the 20th Avenue beach, and you reapply, I think you'll probably, again, no guarantees. I don't hire the folks who are going to work here on the appointing authority, but I trust other people's judgment on it. I got to imagine you're going to get the outcome you're looking for. So, Tim, sorry.
I think you're playing semantics with the
So, and I'm sorry, just name and address for the record, because we're here.
Right now, I live in Bricktown. I was born and raised in Belmar. I've guarded here for 57 years, and I have several, I could go down the list of my qualifications, but I don't want to speak about myself. I just want to know, direct answer, is Raymond Elms going to be a supervisor? That's first question.
The answer is that's ultimately up to the chief of police.
And the same thing with Corinne Wankowski.
Up to the chief of police.
And
I'll
me.
support their decision, just so you know.
And me. Okay. I didn't even get an application. 57 years, no application. I found out, somebody told me, why'd you quit? I said, I didn't quit. I've been here 57 years. I've trained these guards for the last 20. Well, how can they be so good? Who the heck trained them? Where did they learn the skills? I'm not beating myself. But, you know, have a little sense. Have a little courtesy. Brian knows me. Mr. Walsifer knows me. You want to fire me? Fire me. Do it the right way. Tim, come into my office. Something's wrong here. Somebody complained about you, and I'm going to have to let you go. Fine. That's the way you do it. No one even told me I got a certified letter. I didn't get an application, okay? Only 3 people got certified letters. Now, why would only 3 people get certified letters? Do you think that means you're going to be back? Well, then you should have sent out 70 certified letters. But you didn't. And no one even told me. I learned from the mailman. He says, what's going on? I said, I don't know. Okay? So, am I a training officer? I didn't get an application. No one told me to my face, and no one told me anything else. So, do I go to another beach? I have plenty of offers also. But I want to know, am I hired as a training officer? And number 2, you didn't even tell me if I am management. I don't deal with management. I go through my superiors, Corinne and Ray. Okay? I've never dealt with any of these people. Only you have given me citations, commendations for certain very, very dangerous things that we took care of. Rescues. But I don't even get it. You know, why didn't I get an application? Answer that. Plain and simple, without scrutiny.
I'll be honest, I don't know why.
You don't know why?
I don't know.
Why did I get a certified letter when only 2 other people did?
I did not send out the letters. I imagine
Okay.
to who are the certified letters?
So identified as quote-unquote management of the lifeguards and chief of police was Ray Elms, Corinne Wankowski, Harry Harson, and Tim O'Donnell.
I've never been in management.
Your title suggests that you are, sir.
No, it doesn't. My title is training officer. And there's a salary for training officer. And it took me 57 years to get to $15. So what do? I have no application, and you told me what? I'm fired? Say it. Am I fired or am I not fired?
All I can tell you, I don't hire or fire anyone.
It says that you're the one that does.
No, I'm the appointing authority.
Yes. Okay, what does that mean?
I delegate to either the superintendent of the Department of Public Works or the business administrator or the chief of police who we're going to hire or not hire.
Okay. Are you hiring me?
Stops with you, Mayor.
Chief, no, the buck stops with me. If the chief of police wishes to hire you, then we hire you. If the chief of police does not wish to hire you, then we don't hire you. That's the answer.
Well, why did I get a certified letter? Why did only 4 people get a certified letter?
Because they were deemed, and you're saying you're not part of it, but they were deemed as management, our chief of police, as is clearly laid out, would like to take that in a different direction.
That's the problem.
I've never been on management. I don't know where that came from. Management is, they're the people that go down and talk to, who's ever in charge, which is usually our chief of police, okay? I've never done that. I've never talked to this young lady, okay? The only one I see is Mr. Walsper when I'm working out in the morning, and he's walking with his wife. Would have been nice though, don't you think? Do you think that's the correct way to do it? Maybe that's a good question. Is that the correct way to dismiss someone? Send them a letter after 57 years, and then...
Well, I mean, what I will simply tell you is that I support the chief of police.
You support him? Does that mean you don't support me? I had over 600 rescues in my career. I won 20, I won 15 gold medals at nationals representing Belmar.
I support all of the Belmar employees, no matter whether they're cleaning up garbage from the beach or they run the town. I support all of them. It's up to the chief of police as to who's going to be a police officer in town. It's also up to the chief of police as to who's going to be a lifeguard. It's up to the chief of police who's going to be the training officer.
Well, why didn't I get an application? I can't be a training officer. But if did anybody else? Did you all get apps? You got applications, right? Everybody else got applications. Why didn't I get one?
I would tell you that the chief of police is the one who decides whether you get an application or not.
You're not your you got the chief here.
Well, he's not here. We do have a lieutenant who can speak on behalf of the police department, or we have
So I'm in limbo. I'm in limbo.
Honestly, I would tell you you know our chief. I would tell you to get in touch with them and say, listen, am I able to apply?
You didn't see the letter I got?
I did not see, I literally looking at the letters right now, and they make perfect sense.
I brought mine. But no app.
So I would encourage you to contact the chief of police.
Well.
Here, look at the bottom of this. The bottom of this says, notwithstanding the borough's clear managerial prerogative on this issue, we welcome you to respond to this letter with any reasons as to why you think you should be reappointed director without the borough interviewing other candidates. You say you have this letter.
I didn't get an application.
No, it says...
So if I get a certified letter, and only 3 people get it, 4? Okay, 4 people got the letter. What does that tell you? Doesn't it tell you that for legal reasons, you're getting the letter so that you can't deny that you got an application? We're going to ensure that you got an application, but you're not going to come back. Why would you give me a certified letter? Why do I need to get a certified letter? All I needed for the last 57 years, you got an application mailed to you. So what's different? You've been here a few years.
The only thing I can tell you is at the bottom of the letter, it says that you can contact him. So if you come, let's just understand, you read this letter, it says, contact the chief of police. And you come to a council meeting, and you ask me these questions. I'm simply going to tell you what you already know. You already know the answers to the questions you're asking me.
Well, I think it's not that on fire. From simple logic. Here's your letter, but your letter is certified mail. No one else is, except it's 3.
Tim, we seem to be going in circles. Well, all I'm telling you is if you look at your letter, and it tells you in that letter to contact him, you already know the answer before you get up here as to what you should be doing. You say you're in limbo. I'm telling you right now, contact the chief of police. Okay, Matt, thanks. That's it.
I already sent in a certified one. I also have my qualifications. Just a few. You give me a minute?
Sure.
Here's the letter I wrote. To Andrew Heisman, application for reappointment to position of training officer. Education, B.S. Seton Hall University, double major health and physical education, excelled in 3 Division I sports, soccer, squash, and baseball. Master of Science degree, University of Oregon, major, physiology of exercise, plus 30 credits in psychology of sport. Taught and coached 32 years in Lakewood, inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Experience, Belmar lifeguard, 57 years, involved in approximately, and this is a low approximation, 600 water rescues. Certified jet ski rescue operator. Received several commendations from the Borough Council for rescues both before and after swimming in dangerous conditions. Represented the borough in 21 national lifeguard championships. Won 13 gold medals in 16 different events. Sprint, mile run, swimming, rescue board, rowing, and Ironman. Training officer for all new guards for the past 15 years. The training camp's been extremely successful and has been duplicated by several other towns. It has produced a 100% safety record and received many positive reviews in local and state media. My personal fitness program, since I am the director, I do 1 hour of strength training, I do distance swim in a pool or ocean, and a 2-mile sand run 6 days a week for 1 day recovery. I'd be glad to appear before a search committee for an interview with you at your earliest convenience. Apparently, though, I do not have an application.
Timmy, how old are you? So you already, hold on one second. So
I'm
you already,
73.
Tim, you look great. So you already responded.
He's not here, he's on vacation or something, I don't know.
Not on vacation, the FBI training camp.
Okay.
You're telling me you sent him that letter?
Pardon?
Did you send the chief of police that letter?
Yes.
Would you mind?
Certified mail.
Would you mind leaving a copy of that?
Oh, sure. Oh, this is, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's it. What do I do? She's got the letter.
You wait to hear back from the chief of police.
Okay, and is Corinne going to get the same respect?
You get the same exact letter, with the same wording, I believe.
Check is in the mail.
Yes, sir.
David Hegner, Wall Township. I've been a lifeguard for 30 years. Cut my teeth at Belmar with Mr. McGovern. It was a pleasure to work with him. Worked on several beaches in Monmouth County, Seagirt, Manasquan, and came full circle back to Belmar. We have the saying, lifeguard for life. And you're gonna have a problem. This job at Belmar, it's tough. This is the toughest ocean, craziest people you ever seen. You've seen them, they walk on boards, and we go in after them all the time. No discretion. Police officers, nothing against them. They go in to save somebody, they get a medal. We go in to save someone, we get a pat on the back. So, you know, be careful what you're asking for, because you're going to lose a lot of quality guys back here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. My name's Dave Kirk, 2511 Honeysuckle Lane, Point Pleasant. I've been in Belmar lifeguard for about 27 years. Had the pleasure to work with Brian as well. First and foremost, I want to commend you for your public service and what you do as an organization. However, there's a reason why everyone's here tonight, and that reason is during July, you said there were unguarded stands.
The ones I saw, yes.
Okay. I know when we have a stand that is down, for example, I could probably tell you the stands that you probably saw down, 9th Avenue, 13th Avenue, and 17th Avenue, or maybe 19th Avenue. 19. The three stands that are historically...
I'll be honest with you, I don't know exact, but I knew they were in the southern part.
Yeah, historically, those are the stands that are down in Belmar, depending on the personnel. When we have full personnel, obviously those stands are guarded. The one thing I want to commend this past season, the commitment of the lifeguards that are here, plus the supervisors, what they took a rubber band and stretched it as far as they could in terms of the personnel and the resources that we had to make sure that Belmar was safe. And like echo what Mr. Hegner said, you know, we don't get a pat on the back, and we're not looking for that. The bottom line is you got very committed guards here who come in every day to make sure that water is safe. You have two supervisors who go above and beyond to make sure that we have what we need. And we did a lot with very little, especially in the past 5 years, when you look at other beach fronts that are working at full capacity. And Belmar, we were a little slow in terms of getting that ocean front to what it was prior to Sandy. But I think the genesis here is you had a couple people complain about lifeguard stands being down. I know headquarters communicates to the Director of Public Safety to let him know that 9th Avenue is down, 13th Avenue is down, 19th Avenue lifeguard stand is not up and running. That's been communicated. If there was an issue, why weren't we having a sit down and say, hey, what can we do? Ray, can we look at it this way? Look through a different lens. Why are we all of a sudden in the month of February, when this is a critical time in terms of organizing the staff, ordering equipment, whatever it may be, to get ready for Memorial Day weekend? We're the #1 beach in Monmouth County, if not in the state, in terms of beach patrons and the number of bathers that we have in our water. So if we felt there was an issue back in July, why wasn't there a conversation in terms of, hey, how can we fix this? What can we do to improve this? What do you need? Because there's no dollar amount for someone's life. It's as simple as that. And the hours that we work, not one person has drank. And I'm guilty as this. Communication is I think important, but I'm a public servant too, and I know at times when I don't communicate well. But if we self-reflect here on the process, if there was an issue, communicate. We just want to be not good, we want to be great. And when other people look through different lenses, and that's going to help me, I'm going to listen. So please, communicate with us in terms of what we can do better. Because you got two supervisors who epitomize what professionalism is.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for your time. Tom Stoddard, I'm a member of Wall Township, 1603 Dubac Road, former resident of Belmar, and I've been a Belmar lifeguard since 1997, and I've been a volunteer member of the Belmar Water Rescue Team since 2001, including the active efforts during Sandy. Again, thank you for your time. I understand that the committee believes that they were acting in the behest of the Chief of Police, as you stated, Mr. Mayor. But what I think is lost in that letter that he sent to us is that, as you can see tonight, the rank and file members of the Belmar Beach Patrol serve at the pleasure of the current administration. I am a public educator. There I am a public servant. So as if I was in a police force, once you're pretty much in that job, you're pretty much in that job. And as the administration changes, you're kind of stuck with your time of service and you're put in here. We're in a position here of a unique position at the Jersey Shore. As you know, we've talked about lifeguard shortages. You've heard it from more than one experienced lifeguard, guys that have more time than me, that we have standing offers at other beaches. Jamie Doyle has offered me a training officer position at the Ocean Grove Beach Patrol. I would want no greater honor than to be the training officer at Belmar Beach Patrol, but not until the current training officer is ready to give up that position. See, he's the guy who raised me. He took me from a pup. He took me from a pool lifeguard, taught me what it's like to be an ocean lifeguard, right? Harry Harson taught me how to row, right? Billy K-Rods taught me how to manage the beach lifestyle and my family lifestyle. Ray Elms has been nothing but supportive. We are a family up there. And by doing this act in the way that it was done, right, and I don't know that we can defend it the way that it was done, and without putting a transition into place, you're going to lose the experience of your lifeguards, unfortunately, at this time. Now, fortunately, as the letter states, it's not too late to reconsider and to put this beach patrol back in a position to work with the chief of police, to work with the town council, to work with the administrator, and come up with a plan that is better and safer for all of us, which is everything we always wanted. I think if you look at my W-4 last year, father of four, full-time teacher, full-time coach. I worked more hours than I've ever worked before. And it was because I needed to work more hours than I ever did before. And, that was the only way that this beach that I love, 7th Avenue, been there my entire career, 21 years. I love that beach. I love those patrons. I was going to be there for them. But it wasn't because of the management didn't hire the people. It's because things are broken and they need to be fixed, but not at the management level. Thank you guys for your time.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Pat Wong, 18th Avenue, Belmar. I'd just like to come up and say something about our guards. I've been here for 40 years. We have the best guards in the world. And I just want to ask two questions. What was, after listening to the guys, what was the hurry to pass this ordinance, to fire these guys and then rehire them? And also, when I was reading the letter, it said that they would be interviewed for reemployment by yourself and Colleen and the chief.
Nothing.
I saw that on the letter. Brian. I'm sorry, Brian. Your qualifications to interview these boys, these men, these swimmers. Were you a lifeguard back? Colleen?
Well, let's you have a couple
that's what I'm
questions.
kind of...
You have a couple questions. First one is, it was a resolution passed, but we wanted to be fully transparent about what we're doing.
Right.
It wasn't an ordinance. Second thing, whether you're a lifeguard or you're a seasonal DPW employee or you're seasonal down at the marina, every year you reapply. So to say, hey, I got fired, it's not true. You either get brought back or you don't get brought back. It's one of those two things. I have to trust in the judgment of our chief of police. I brought a concern to him. I sound like a broken record. I brought a concern to him. He's addressing it the best way he thinks. I'm going to support him and back him up as far as he needs to go. Now, I mean, obviously, again, I just saw the letter again today. To me, if I got this letter, I would apply, and I would probably be back on the stand I was at last summer. So that's what I would do. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But it was kind of done the wrong way to these fellows. They were really hurt.
Did you read the letter that was sent to them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And they were kind of hurt. And another thing about our lifeguards, which is really important, I think more than 20% of the people who come here on weekends are Eastern Europeans. A lot of them don't speak English. They really have their hands full because they don't understand, these people don't understand how rough the ocean can be. And I've seen them pull them out left and right. Little kids, I mean, parents neglect the little kids, and our guys are down there pressuring, these kids in. And I just think it's hurtful, what you did to them. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Is it okay if I get up the speaker?
Yeah.
I'll just be quick.
I'm sorry to do this to you. It's a public meeting, so you have to come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and record.
Okay.
Sorry. Chris, just tell us.
I know. I'll be quick, because I know everybody wants to get out of here. I just, can everybody hear me? I just want to say that what it all comes down to is rescues, right? No one is drowned, and Dave made a point, no one's drowned on our watch while we've been on duty, and Ray's been, I've been a lifeguard, lieutenant on 18th Avenue for the last 22 years. No one's drowned on our watch while we were on duty, and Ray's a big part of that. Bill, Ray, Harry, Corinne, they've all been in charge in some fashion, either Beach 1 or Beach 2, for as long as I've been here, the last 22 years. No one is drowned. And everyone knows the dynamics of our beach. We have 100,000 people on 4th of July weekend. We have bad rip currents. We have people, unlike Spring Lake and Cedar, that listen and know the water, that are locals, that know to swim to the side. We have drownings. We don't have time to record all the drownings we have, or not drownings, but rescues. Sometimes you rescue someone, you got to jump right back in. You don't have time to break down a car. We have the most rescues out of anyone else in New Jersey because of the dynamics of our water. And that's under Ray's watch. And I don't understand why this happened to Ray under these circumstances when nothing serious has happened. Just because stands were down, if you would have told us, we would have put them up. Now, if you know the dynamics of our beach, if we have rescues, like for example on 17th Avenue, that's where the food stands are. All the people are there. We have a bad rip current. That's where all the rescues happen. We have 19th Avenue, that's surfing. They have flotation devices attached to them. If we're short guards, we're going to put all the manpower on 17 where the rescues happen. A rescue, a rip current, it can suck out, it's a hole in the ocean floor, sand collapses, it can suck out 15, 20 people at a time. We need 3 people on that stand. If we have 5 guards, and we need 3 people on that stand, we go out for the farthest person, there's people behind them, we call on the radio, we do a domino effect, everyone comes down, and we have people behind us. That's the dynamics of the beach. If you understand that, that's why that stand is down. Now, if we have the manpower, we'll put all the stands up. But people, go home to college and we're short guards. It's the same way in all beaches. If we can even red flag that and not let everyone swim and then swim in front of us if we have more lifeguards. But that's all it is. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way it is. And I just want to explain that to you so you guys understand the dynamics of the beach patrol here. It's not Ray's fault. It's not the administration here. And Bill touched on it before. So I just want to let you guys be aware of it because a lot of people are emotional today because Ray, Corinne, and the people in charge, Tim, Bill used to be, they're all, not only do we love them, but they're our friends too. So if you saw one of your friends fired and it was, and not in a way where you brought him in and said, listen, Ray, we're looking to go in a different direction, just a letter that while he's in Florida, maybe I'm hearing the wrong thing here. But it wasn't honorable the way he got let go. That's all I'm saying. If that happened to one of your good friends and bosses you respected and wanted to work for, that you cared about all these years, wouldn't you want to go up and say something? That's all I'm saying. And I know everyone's very emotional here, but I just want to get that point across to you guys.
Sir, what's your name?
Ross O'Neill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How you doing? Chris Vanina. Well, I'm good. I still haven't had an answer. That's all I'm looking for. Like, no one's answered the question. Why are Ray and Corinne, Timmy and Harry not coming back? We haven't had an answer. Do you have an answer? Because stands were down? I know you're going to say it's the chief, but you obviously were in a conversation, no?
I'm in the conversation as much as the chief tells me what he wants to do, and I support it.
So the chief just says, hey, we're gonna fire 4 guys. Okay, no answer, no questions, no nothing.
If I bring a concern to him, he says, all right, Matt, this is the way I want to handle it. Yeah, I'm going to back him up.
And you won't ask questions of the leader?
What do you want me to ask?
Why? What happened? Did you speak to them? What was the chain of action? Did you reprimand them? Did you give them a letter? Corinne just won, what, Employee of the Month in July? And all of a sudden now she's not that great an employee? I mean, come on! How can that be?
I'll be very honest with you, I did not have those conversations with the chief. I did not.
So did the chief have the conversations with Ray, Corinne, Harry, and Timmy about Stan's being down?
I don't know if he did or did not.
So when will he be back so we can ask him those questions? I guess that's important.
What will the chief say?
We'll be back for parade.
He'll be back for parade. So
Well,
he'll be back in March. Could he be at the next council meeting? Would that be helpful?
I mean, if you can't answer, but at least, because, listen,
No,
these guys have trained me. I've been lifeguarding for 21 years.
I'm just trying to be honest with you.
No, I understand, but
I don't get involved in the management of the employees.
listen, I'm in education, and I know my
You
administration,
don't want me involved.
but I know in education, it's a hierarchy. And if the principal goes to the superintendent and says, we're gonna fire this person, the superintendent, I would think, would say, well, why? Not just, okay. You know, like, you're the top guy, you must ask questions.
And believe me, I'll repeat again, the buck stops with me.
If you were firing me, I understand, I'm just a lifeguard. It's the chief, the cap, you know, the top guys. That's a different story. If I was getting fired, sure, they might not go to you. I'm the little peon. But you're firing Harry, Ray, Corinne, and Timmy? And then you say, wait, we're not firing, they can reapply. We can all see what's going on. I mean, they're the only ones that got a certified letter, so they're not fired. And by the way, the management, according to your words in the article, we're going to change management, right? Wasn't that your?
That's what.
So changing management means we're not going to bring back the old management.
In the letter that they received, it says, notwithstanding the borough's clear managerial prerogative on this issue, we welcome you to respond to this letter with any reasons as to why you think you should be reappointed to a director without the borough interviewing other candidates. You saw Tim actually did what that said and wrote a letter. So there's an avenue. If you're asking, is there an avenue? There is an avenue.
It's a nice way of saying you can reapply, but we're looking other ways. I mean, right.
You just said it.
Right, it's a nice way of doing it, it's a politically correct way, it's just like.
No, you just.
Right, so we're apply, we're not gonna hire you, apply, but we're gonna look otherwise, because that's what it said, we're looking.
No, I think our chief is saying, here's a decision I'm making. I'm giving you the ability to come in and show me I'm wrong.
But shouldn't that have been done prior to a public meeting? Don't you think that should have been done prior? I mean, as a leadership
It
role?
was done in a February 7th letter. I mean, if I got this letter, right, if I got this letter, I was like, I think the chief is wrong. I would call him up and say, Chief, I want to come meet with you. It's incumbent on them, not the chief. It's incumbent on the person who received the letter to say, I want to meet with you. I think you're making a mistake. Here's why. If the chief says, I'm not going to meet with you, then come talk to me. I'll make sure the chief meets with you.
And so the lifeguard season.
Wait, Chris, then I'll intervene. But if no one takes the initiative to go to the chief, instead you come here and...
Well, the lifeguard season did end in September, and you had October, November, December, January, 4 months to make that conversation happen. Not wait till February, correct?
The letters could have gotten...
I mean, come on, you have 4 months to do this, not until February.
I will agree.
Right, so if you had concern that stands were down in July, we wait until February to deal with the situation.
You're right.
But, I mean, that's what we're getting at. And you know what it is? Because now you have a time crunch, so you want to get it done quickly, right?
No,
Because if you did it in October, you would have a lot longer people make backlash.
No, it's not about backlash. I think the longer time we have to work it out, the better.
Unless you want to try to pass something through real quick, right?
Why would we want to pass something through real quick?
Like, you know, you have a candidate already ready, and you want to quickly get them through. That's what it looks like from the outside.
Well, and that's another, again, I can't debunk every rumor. There is no candidate already ready. If anyone says, hey, they have a candidate already ready, They are lying to you. That is not accurate. There is no candidate already met. And again, if you, I'm sorry to repeat myself, Chris. If you go back, you read the letter, and you say, I want to work in Belmar, there's an avenue for you to work in
I
Belmar.
totally understand. And just to be, whoever wrote the letter,
And you
it's a
should,
little bit of a
Chris.
slap
You
in the
should.
face to the management to say, we're changing management, but the rank and file are great. That's a slap in the face to them, a backward slap, to say, we're changing management, but the guys are great, right? I think, when you write something like that, maybe it should be a little nicer to the people who've been there for 40, 50, 60 years.
I do not offer the letter. My guess is it's legalese, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, well, you should reconsider, because you have a lot of guys who might be leaving. And then you'll be really stuck in it. And unfortunately, 16 and 17-year-old guys, since we haven't hired them in the past, I don't know if you know that, they won't be able to do the job either. So, thank you.
All right, we're getting 8 o'clock, so let's pull the.
No, one more. All right. I don't think that
There's always one more.
Colin Rogers from Point Pleasant. I've been a lifeguard for 36 years, 33 in Belmar straight. Not too many people do that. What I really think you should do is get in touch with the chief. I know he's down in Quantico at the FBI Academy. He needs to come up here. I think he needs to speak to you and voice his concerns, because no one knows what his concerns are. His concerns apparently are from you walking the beach, seeing some stands down. And me, lifeguarding for 36 years, I find it hard to believe that the mayor of Belmar says, you know what, there's some stands down. I think we should get rid of these 4 guys, and then 3 guys and 1 girl. I think you should sit down with the chief and talk to him, say, Chief, you gotta give us some really good reasons why we need to get rid of him. Unless it's your reason. If you want to get rid of him, that's okay. If he's the boss of the lifeguards, he needs to tell you why. I think he needs to document it. I think he needs to put a letter out to you saying, the memo, Mr. Mayor, this is why I'm getting rid of these 3 men and this 1 woman. We'll feel better about it if we know that. If you don't tell us that, we're not going to believe it. We think it's just a ruse because you have someone ready to come into the shop. And if you don't, that's great. If you want to get someone from another town to come here, great too. But if those 4 people don't come back, you don't give us a solid reason why they can't come back, other than a couple lifeguard stands being down, it's not going to sit well with the rank and file.
Right. And let me just, that's a good point. So what I'm trying to communicate is that when I saw them down, I talked to Chief Police. I don't know what else he's seen.
What did he tell you, please, if I may?
He said, all right, I'll handle it. That's it. If I have a...
Mr. Mayor,
No, just, if there's another issue in town, I'm like, listen, we have people speeding down 15th Avenue, if you do something about it, I'll handle it. And I don't tell him how to do his job. I don't tell him where to put patrol cars, I don't tell him who put in the patrol car. I would
You
never
could,
tell
though,
him.
you're the mayor.
I would never do that.
But you could.
You don't want a politician running the police department.
You're the boss.
So what I'm saying is, you're right, there's got to be more than just me. All I'm saying is that is where this whole thing started, from my perspective. So he may have other things that are on his mind or that are of concern to him with the management. You're absolutely right. I don't know. I never discussed it with them. I discussed the benches being down, or the stands being down. That's all I discussed with them about the lifeguard.
That should not be career changing. Lifeguard stands down. There's a reason why. Many people have said why the lifeguard stands are down.
And I'm sure you're right. Without even knowing, I would agree with you now. The one thing, because you brought it up, I'm going to stress again, there is no one already in the wings waiting to take these positions.
Okay, discount that.
He can laugh all he wants.
Discount it.
No one.
I'll discount that. But I think you need to sit down with the chief and have him give the reason other than just lifeguard stands being down. There's got to be more to it than just that.
Well, no, he's not giving me that reason. I brought that to him. I don't know what other reasons he may have.
I think you should discuss it with him. You're the mayor, he's the chief of police.
I mean,
I don't think that you just going to him, it's my opinion, saying to him, hey, those lifeguard stands were down. You don't know why. Your private reasons, no personnel, we didn't have enough people for him. The chief just said, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's can these 3 men and this woman because those lifeguard stands are down. There's more to it. He should articulate to you why I'm getting rid of these people. If you don't know why, you should know why, because I don't live in town, of Point Pleasant, but if I came here and asked you as a resident of Belmar, Mr. Mayor, why are they gone? I wouldn't want you going like this, speak to the chief. I'd say, Chief, tell me why you're getting rid of these folks. You could tell people why, this, and this. not just lifeguard stands are down. That's like saying there's water in the hallway here in August, and you walk by, look at it, and go, and 6 months later say, hey, where's the maintenance guy? He didn't clean the water up. That's what's happening here now. In other words, you waited 6 months to address the problem. You're telling us now, officially in the paper, that your issue was the lifeguard stands were down, and this is why we're here tonight, because these 3 people and the 3 guys and 1 girl got fired because of that.
Again, I'm repeating myself and I say it again. I completely understand your point, and I do hear you. What I will do is I'll do a couple things. I'll work on having the chief of police here. My only concern is that when you do this stuff in a public venue like this,
It's litigated, there could be problems.
people don't necessarily.
Yeah.
First off, you got him. It may not be as productive as behind the doors. I'll also tell you that I'm not an attorney, but there's probably personnel issues that can't get discussed in public either. But I would tell you that I would encourage everyone to sort of just take a deep breath, look at the letters you have. If you're not happy with the decision the chief is making, clearly you're not. I think that's been expressed very well and eloquently by people here tonight. So I will communicate that to the chief. I will do that on your behalf. But I would tell you that there's a certain responsibility of folks to either reapply or for folks who want to work here, and we want you to work here, to take a step and contact the chief as well. So I would tell you, I hear you. I will communicate your visceral concerns, and I'll do that. But I would tell you that you got to take a step as well, and you got to follow what the letter says and apply if you want to work here. The letter says it. I'm going to tell you.
I don't think anyone's disputing that. They're disputing why the 4 supervisors were let go without cause. No one knows the reason why, other than you saying the chief of and you intimated that to the chief. The chief said, "We'll get rid of them."
Right. That cannot.
We need more. We need more, Mayor. We need more.
In any situation, be the only reason.
We need more, that's all. We just need some more. I think you're going to have the lifeguard crew, they need that answer, that's all. We can't come back here and work and say, what the heck happened here? Why did these 4 people get let go? They're not giving us an answer. Do you really expect those people to come back and work on this beach? Come back here because the 4 supervisors got let go? We should know why they were let go. Not just keep saying the lifeguard stands, but that's the only thing I've been hearing, the lifeguard stands.
Well, because I feel an obligation, if a reporter asks me, I feel an obligation to answer. That's what
Were the stands down off duty or unmanned?
Actually, both. One was down and one was unmanned.
The ones that are down, we know why they're down. We don't have any personnel. Now, the ones that don't have people in them, that's got to be addressed immediately. There's got to be a good reason why. Is there people working out, do not have any personnel, or the people down at headquarters, or they on jobs. But the stands down, forget about those. The only reason those stands are down is because we don't have the folks to put in them. That's definite. The ones up, you might want to address that with the chief. The chief should address that immediately. You shouldn't have addressed it months later. You should have said, that's a safety concern. You should have said, why are there people not in those lifeguard stands?
And he very well may have. And I don't know what answer he would give him for that, if he did.
All right, well, let's
I'm not going to try to pretend to know. But again, I think it's important and I think we've beaten this horse.
We have. That's why I didn't want to. We have.
But I appreciate you
Please
coming.
speak to the chief. I think the chief needs to articulate why. You're telling him he's making a decision, and you respect his decision, so it's his decision.
I do.
Let the chief articulate why those 4 folks are not
My
coming back.
my only hesitation in committing fully to everything is because I don't know if there's certain personnel matters that are not allowed to be discussed publicly.
Well, whatever can go public, please make it public, that's all.
And I will. That's why we did this in the most transparent way with a resolution before the council. We haven't dodged the press when they ask questions about it. We've been upfront with everyone. Clearly, people aren't happy about it, but I think you got to give us credit for at least being transparent about the process. No one's coming in saying, hey, where's the management? Who are these 4 new people? Come Memorial Day weekend.
True, but
That's not going to make it happen.
It's not, but for me, 33 straight years in Belmar, I was embarrassed. People were asking me what happened, are you guys not watching the water, what's going down in Belmar? The article was terrible, the quotes were terrible, and it just made us look bad. It made me look bad. I was embarrassed. I was like, I was embarrassed. They looked at me like, what's going on in Belmar? You guys are not up in the lifeguard stand, you're not watching the water? What are you doing? Do you have a job next year? Things like that. So I think it was just, like some of the guys said, it was the letter should have been done a little better. I know at the bottom of the letter it says you can reapply, and we reapply every year, but it really made it sound like you have to come in and reapply. You're really fighting for your job to come back to Belmar. That's what I kind of got.
All right, I'll be honest, I don't read the letter like that. And I will tell you, if you're unhappy with the quotes that I have in the paper, they're my responsibility, and I would apologize.
The stands down, the unmanned, whatever you said, I can't recall it right now, but if I have to read it again, but the stands down should never be discussed. The stands are down, that means lifeguards in that section are off duty, don't swim there. It's universal, we know that, everyone should know that. There's no one in lifeguard stand, they're not there. Unmanned stands, that's an issue. It should have been addressed at that time, immediately. It's a safety issue,
Yeah, so
not 6 months later.
They're remote.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, well, it's 8 o'clock, so I just want to close the public portion and adjourn.
I make a motion. Aye.